Hello everyone. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and let's go.
25 grand in debt, a secret account, and a husband who decided not to throw a tantrum, but to methodically dismantle her life. When I found out my wife was entertaining men on the internet, I did not smash the plates. I grabbed a beer, my credit card, and became her best customer. She thought it was easy money, but I was paying her to degrade herself. In the end, she sold 10 years of our marriage for $2,000, and I made sure she collected that check in front of the whole town. That evening, I got home from work just as the sun was dipping below the horizon. My boots felt like they weighed a ton each. It had been a hell of a week. We were pouring the foundation for a new strip mall on the outskirts of town, and as the foreman, that's me, I had to be everywhere at once. Concrete, rebar, deadlines, and contractors who could not find their ass with both hands. My back was screaming at me, a not-so-subtle reminder that I was not 25 anymore. But I did not complain. I worked for us, for this house with the white siding, for the lawn I mowed every Saturday, and for Tiffany. I walked up the porch steps, my mind already on a hot shower and an ice-cold beer. I flipped open the mailbox out of habit, even though Tiff usually grabbed the bills. Inside was the usual stack of junk mail and one envelope that made my stomach drop. Thin, mean-looking, with a red stripe running diagonally across it. Envelopes like that do not say, "Congratulations." They say, "Game over." I tore it open, smearing cement dust on the paper. My eyes scanned the lines, and the exhaustion vanished instantly. It was replaced by a cold chill that started in my gut and froze my fingertips. Final notice. Past due, 6 months. Foreclosure proceedings will commence in 14 days. I read it 3 times. The numbers danced in front of my eyes. $85,000. That was not just a debt. That was a catastrophe. I stood there on my own porch, realizing the ground beneath my feet was not even mine anymore. But how? I handed Tiffany my entire paycheck every Friday. I kept peanuts for lunch and gas. We were supposed to be paying off the mortgage early. We had a plan. Hell, we had an Excel spreadsheet she showed me 6 months ago. I walked inside. The house smelled like vanilla and something sweet. Silence. "Tiff?" I called out. My voice sounded like gravel. No answer. Her car was not in the driveway, which meant she was out running errands again. I walked into the kitchen and tossed the envelope on the table. My hands were shaking. I started running through the options in my head. Bank error? Identity theft? But deep down, in that dark corner of your gut you're too scared to look at, I knew the truth. I went into the living room and saw her tablet on the sofa. Screen up, forgotten in a hurry. I never snooped on her gadgets. I respected her privacy. We shared a passcode, 1234, but I never used it. Until today. I tapped the screen. It woke up. And what I saw hit me harder than a bag of cement to the back of the head. It was a notification. A bright, pulsing icon for an app I'd only heard about in dirty jokes on the job site. User Big Daddy sent you $50. Message. Show me more, baby. OnlyFans. The world tilted on its axis. I sat down on the couch, right there in my filthy work clothes. I opened the app. It was logged in. Account name, Mystery Tiff. I clicked on My Profile. And there she was. My wife. The woman I was planning to have kids with. The woman who wrinkled her nose if I dropped an F-bomb. On the screen, she was in our guest room. She was wearing cheap, trashy red lace lingerie I'd never seen before, with cutouts in all the wrong places. She had a Venetian mask covering her eyes, but I knew her. I knew the mole on her left shoulder. I knew the engagement ring on her finger. I scrolled through the feed. Photos, videos, gigabytes of filth. There she was in our kitchen, hiking up her skirt while I was at work. There she was in the bathtub, playing with some toys. I opened the finance tab. Money came in, money went out. Thousands of dollars, but none of it was in our bank accounts. Where did it go? I checked the browser history on the same tablet. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Sephora, online casinos. The puzzle pieces clicked together. She was not just blowing my paycheck. She'd burned through everything I earned, buried us in debt, and now she was selling herself piece by piece to strangers just to buy another handbag or chase a loss. She'd turned our marriage into a cheap brothel, and me into the chump paying the electric bill for her webcam. I wanted to scream. I wanted to smash the tablet against the wall, tear the furniture apart, throw her shit out the window right then and there. My hand squeezed into a fist so tight my knuckles turned white. Blood pounded in my temples. Kill, smash, destroy. But I stopped. I took a deep breath. Then another. I stood up, walked to the fridge, and cracked open a beer. It was ice cold. I pressed the can against my forehead. The chill cooled the fire raging inside me. I'm not a drama queen. I'm a man. I'm Rick, the foreman of the best crew in the county. I solve problems. I do not create them. If I blow up now, she'll start crying, lying, playing the victim. We'll get bogged down in arguments, but the debt won't go anywhere, and the bank will still take the house. No, that's not how we do this. I popped the tab. The snap sounded like a hammer cocking on a pistol in the quiet house. I took a long pull. The bitter hops brought me back to reality. If she wants to play commerce, I'll play with her. She loves money? Fine. I'll give her a chance to earn it. I looked at the tablet again, at her last photo in the mask. Well, Tiffany, I said to the empty room, you want to be for sale? I'm going to be your best customer. And your last. A plan started to form in my head. Cruel, precise, fair, like a hammer hitting a nail. For the next 2 days, I was on autopilot. I'd wake up, kiss Tiffany on the cheek before leaving, which took an Academy Award-level performance, drive to the site, work myself into the ground, and then start my second shift. I created a new account. No names, no links to my real identity. I bought a prepaid Visa card at a gas station so the transactions would not show up on our bank statements. My username was simple and commanding: The Boss. I needed capital for the operation. On my lunch break, I drove to the bank. I had a secret stash, a savings account I'd been squirreling money into, $50 at a time, for years. I was saving for a new pickup. My old Ford was on its last legs. There was about $4,000 in there. That was my dream, compressed into digits. I withdrew $2,000 in cash. Then I loaded it onto that prepaid card. Did it hurt? Hell yes. It felt like I was setting my dream on fire. But I knew this was an investment in my freedom. That evening, I sat in my den. Tiffany was in the spare room, the one she called her yoga studio. I knew exactly what kind of stretching she was doing in there. I pulled up her profile. She was online. First installment, $200. Send. A second later, I heard a high-pitched squeal of delight through the drywall. She could not even hold it in. A message popped up in the chat. "Wow! Hey, boss! Generous start. Thanks, sweetie. What do you want to see?" I almost threw up. I was sitting 10 feet away, separated by a sheet of drywall, reading my wife call me sweetie for $200. The same wife who had a migraine last night when I tried to put my arm around her. I clenched my jaw so hard my teeth ached. "I want to test your limits," I typed. I decided to run a test, a litmus test for the rot. I have this old Chicago Bears jersey, faded, beat up, unraveling at the seams. I wear it on game days. Tiffany hated it. She called it a floor rag and banned me from wearing it, even inside the house. "It's unladylike to be seen with that thing, Rick. It kills the romance," she'd say. I wrote to her, "I have a specific taste. Find an old, oversized guy's t-shirt. Sports team logo preferred. Wear it. And nothing else." I waited for the rejection. I thought she'd say she only does lace and silk. A minute later, the photo popped up. She was wearing my Bears jersey, the one she threatened to throw in the trash. She had it pulled tight against her bare skin, stretching the collar so her chest was on display. And the caption? "Just for you, boss. I love the smell of a real man." I stared at the screen, and something inside me finally died. It was not about the cash. It was not even about the sex. It was the disrespect. For me, her husband, the guy who built the roof over her head with his own hands, she could not tolerate that shirt for 5 minutes. For a faceless stranger with a wallet, she threw it on instantly, smiling, faking passion. She was not just cheating. She despised me. I was just a resource to her, a comfortable sofa she could milk for cash. The real party was for the guys who paid extra. Fine, I thought. You love the smell of a real man? You're going to get it. Our 10th anniversary was coming up, the big one. At dinner, I brought it up. "Tiff, the date's coming up." 10 years, can you believe it? She looked up from her phone, a flicker of boredom crossing her eyes. "Yeah, honey? What did you come up with?" "I booked a table," I said, trying to sound modest. "At Mike's, remember? That's where we met. Just the two of us, wings, beer, low-key." She rolled her eyes. I'd seen that look 1,000 times, but I never realized how much venom was behind it until now. "Mike's again, Rick? Seriously? 10 years and you're taking me to a sports bar? I thought maybe that Italian place downtown." "Money's tight, Tiff," I reminded her, keeping my voice hard. "The mortgage?" She deflated instantly, looking away. "Fine. Sports bar it is." She did not know the truth. I had not just booked a table. I'd rented out the entire back room. I called her dad, Bill, a tough old bird, retired military, always shook my hand with a grip like a vice. I invited her mom, a chatty but sweet woman. I called my brothers, the guys from my crew, all our mutual friends. I told them, "It's a surprise. We're renewing our vows." I've got a big video presentation, the story of our love. Everyone was thrilled. "Rick, you're a true romantic," they said. Oh yeah, I thought. This is going to be unforgettable. The stage was set. The cast was assembled. All that was left was to bring the leading lady into the spotlight. By the day before our anniversary, the tension in the house was thick enough to choke on. Tiffany was a wreck, constantly checking her phone. I knew why. The bill collectors were blowing it up. She needed cash, and she needed it fast. I sat in my truck out front and logged into the boss account on my phone. It was time to make her an offer she could not refuse. A deal with the devil. I typed, "Hey baby, I've got a special night planned, and a specific craving. I want a private stream, a long one, full hour." She replied instantly, "Of course, sweetie. When?" I paused for effect. "Tomorrow, 7 p.m. sharp. I'm paying $2,000. Transfer happens right before we start. But there's a condition. You have to be home completely alone. I want to hear the echo in the rooms. I want to know you're all mine." 7 p.m., the exact time of our dinner reservation. I watched her shadow pace back and forth in the living room window. She was scrambling. $2,000. For her, right now, that was a lifeline. It would shut the collectors up for a month. It was a new handbag. It was a fix for her shopping addiction. But it meant blowing off our anniversary, ditching her husband on a milestone night. I waited. 1 minute passed. 2. What would she choose? 10 years of marriage or $2,000 from a stranger? The answer came with the ding of a notification. "It's a deal, boss. I'll be ready. At 7 p.m., I'm all yours." I lowered the phone. My chest felt hollow, like someone had carved my heart out with a rusty spoon. She sold us out. She sold me, without a second thought. I got out of the truck and walked inside to play the loving idiot one last time. The night of the anniversary arrived. I put on my best button-down, shaved, and splashed on the cologne she bought me with my money. Tiffany walked into the hallway. She was in a bathrobe. Her face was a mask of tragedy, eyes darting around the room. Showtime. "Rick," she started, her voice trembling. "Please forgive me." "What's wrong, babe? We're gonna be late." She sniffled. "They called me into the salon. Emergency. Jenny got sick, fever of 104, and the book is full. If I do not go in, they're gonna fire me. You know how badly we need the money." She looked me dead in the eye. Honest, open, begging for understanding. It was a brilliant lie. If I did not know the truth, I would have pitied her. I would have said, "Of course, honey. Work comes first. We'll celebrate later." She was lying to my face, standing 2 feet away, and her pulse did not even jump. She was trading me for cybersex with the boss, but hiding behind a shield of family responsibility. I felt that cold rage boiling up again, but on the outside I remained as still as a rock. "It's okay," I said softly. "Work is work. I get it." Her face lit up. She clearly had not expected it to be this easy. "You are the best husband in the world," she cried, leaning in to kiss me. I turned my cheek. Her lips brushed my skin. It was a Judas kiss, reversed, the traitor kissing the victim, thinking she'd won. "I'll head to the bar," I said. "The boys are probably already there. I'll have a beer for both of us." "Yes, of course. Have fun. I'll be home late. Do not wait up." I walked out of the house, got into my old pickup, and slowly backed out of the driveway. As soon as the house disappeared around the bend, I slammed my fist into the steering wheel. "Bitch!" I screamed, my throat burning. "You lying snake!" But I pulled myself together quickly. I could not lose control now. I arrived at Mike's 30 minutes before kickoff. The guests were already gathering. The back room was decked out with balloons. Music was playing. Tiffany's dad, Bill, walked up to me. a tough old guy, retired military. "Rick, son, happy anniversary. Where's the guest of honor? Late as usual?" He laughed good-naturedly. It hurt to look him in the eye. He did not raise her to be like this. Where did we miss the moment she broke? "She's preparing a special surprise, Bill," I answered, shaking his hand firmly. "She's joining us via video link. Said she wanted to do something modern." I walked over to the DJ booth. There was a massive 60-inch plasma TV mounted there. I hooked up my laptop via HDMI, checked the connection. The internet was flying. Guests were taking their seats. My crew guys were already cracking open beers, cracking jokes, slapping me on the back. "10 years, Rick! You're a hero!" someone shouted. I checked my watch. 6:55. 6:58. My heart was hammering like a jackhammer, but my hands were steady. I was on the job. I was executing a task. At exactly 7 p.m., I grabbed the microphone. "Listen up, everybody!" My voice boomed through the room. The music cut out. Everyone turned to face me. "Thanks for coming. Unfortunately, Tiffany could not make it in person, but she's with us, right now. She's prepared a performance for us." I hit a key on the laptop. The video call loading screen appeared on the big display. I opened the boss chat and clicked Video Call. Ring. Second ring. Connection established. The screen flickered and snapped into focus. Crystal clear 4K resolution. Damn her. She bought that new webcam with my money. On the massive plasma screen towering over tables of buffalo wings and pitchers of beer, my bedroom appeared. Our bed was draped in scarlet silk sheets, brand new. I had never seen them before. And smack in the center of the frame was Tiffany. The room gasped. A collective, sharp intake of breath. She was squeezed into a black latex catsuit. It clung to her like a second skin, glistening under the ring light. She had a mask on, with little ears covering the top half of her face, but that was not enough to hide who she was from her own family. The mole on her shoulder, her figure, her voice, and the room itself. Everyone knew that wallpaper. Everyone recognized that headboard. She could not see us. On her end, the OnlyFans interface just showed a black square, since I'd taped over my laptop camera. But I left the audio feed open. She thought she was talking to the boss. "Hey, boss," she purred. Her voice was low, fake raspy, dripping with filth. I had not heard that tone in years. With me, it was always about bills or taking out the trash. "I missed you. Did the money come through? I'm ready to earn every penny." The silence in the bar was heavy, suffocating. You could cut it with a knife. Someone dropped a fork, and the clatter against the plate sounded like a gunshot. Her mother, sitting in the front row, went pale and covered her mouth with her hand. Bill, her dad, turned beet red. He started slowly rising from his chair, refusing to believe his own eyes. My brother Tom leaned in, whispering, "What the hell, Rick? Is this a prank?" "No, Tom," I said quietly, never taking my eyes off the screen. "This is reality." On screen, Tiffany started moving. She got on her knees on the bed, arching her back. "I'm a bad girl today, boss. My husband thinks I'm at work, but I'm here with you. Want me to show you what I can do? He's so boring, but you pay for my habits." Every word was another nail in the coffin of her reputation. She was not just stripping. She was publicly castrating me in front of the whole town. "Rick, turn it off," one of my buddies yelled. "No," I barked into the mic. "Watch, you need to see this." I leaned into the laptop. I cranked the microphone volume to the max. My voice blasted through the bar's PA system, traveled through the internet, and exploded out of her computer speakers in our bedroom. "Give us a show, baby," I said. My voice was ice cold, calm, commanding. "Show everyone what your love is actually worth." She froze on screen, her body locked up in that ridiculous, erotic pose. She knew the voice. Of course she knew it. "Rick?" she stammered, staring down the barrel of her lens. The mask hid her eyes, but I saw her lip quivering. Are you home? Are you spying on me?" "No, Tiffany," I answered into the mic. The bar was so quiet you could hear the beer coolers humming. "I'm not home. I'm at our anniversary party. At Mike's. Remember? The place you did not want to come to." "What?" She did not get it. Her brain refused to process the data. "I'm not alone," I continued, savoring every syllable. "Your mom is here. Your dad. Tom. Mike. The whole crew. We're all watching you." I reached over and peeled the piece of black electrical tape off my webcam. Then, I spun the laptop around to face the room. 50 people, all staring. Her father looked like he was about to stroke out from shame and rage. Her mom was burying her face in his shoulder, sobbing. The guys? Some looked disgusted. Some were just snickering. Now Tiffany saw it. On her screen, the black square was replaced by a crowded room where she was the punchline. The reaction was instant. She squealed, a sound like a stuck pig in a slaughterhouse. She flailed, trying to cover the lens with her hand, and got tangled in the sheets. She crashed off the bed, taking that expensive ring light down with her. The smash echoed through the bar speakers. The mask slipped sideways, revealing one eye wide with animal terror. She crawled back into the frame, scrambling to hit the kill switch, but her hands were shaking so bad she could not type. "Rick! Turn it off! Turn it off right now!" she screamed, ripping the mask off completely. Now everyone saw her face. Red, streaked with tears, twisted in panic. "It's not what you think! It's a mistake!" "It's not a mistake, Tiffany," I cut in. My voice boomed over the speakers like a judge handing down a death sentence. "It's business. You sold our family, our anniversary, and my honor for $2,000, just to pay off your credit cards." "Rick, please," she sobbed, trying to cover herself with her hands, though it was a little late for modesty. "I love you." "No," I said calmly. "You love money. And by the way, and that $2,000, I transferred that from my truck fund. You sold me out with my own cash. Deal's closed." I watched Bill, her dad, turn his back and walk out the door. He could not even look at the screen anymore. "Goodbye, Tiffany," I said. I slammed the laptop shut. Crack! The plasma screen went black. The bar went dim again, lit only by the neon signs and string lights. I let out a breath. The adrenaline started to fade, leaving a hollow space in my chest. But it was a clean hollow, cauterized by fire. I turned to the guests. I did not hang my head. I did not look away. "Sorry, folks," I said into the silence. "Party's canceled. But the bar is paid up until midnight. Drink up. It's on me." I stepped off the stage. No one said a word. My friends silently clapped me on the shoulder as I passed, offering support. My brother held out his keys. "I'll drive, Rick. You've had a few." "No," I snatched my own keys back. "I'm sober as a judge. I'm going home to take out the trash." The drive home took 15 minutes. I drove slow, obeying every speed limit sign. I had nowhere to rush to. The worst had already happened, and I was still standing. When I turned onto our street, I saw the lights on. She was there, probably pacing, probably cooking up a new batch of lies. I parked the truck, walked into the garage, grabbed a roll of heavy-duty black contractor bags, the kind we use for construction debris. Symbolic. I walked into the house. The front door was unlocked. Tiffany was sitting on the sofa in the living room. She'd changed into jeans and a sweater. Mascara was smeared down her cheeks, eyes puffy and red. When she saw me, she jumped up. "Rick, thank God. Let's talk. I can explain everything. I did it for us. I wanted to save the house." She tried to walk toward me, to touch me. I put my hand up, rigid, a barrier. "Stay back," I said quietly. "You have 15 minutes." I tossed the roll of bags at her feet. It hit the floor with a heavy thud. "What?" She blinked. "Anything you can stuff in these bags is yours. Clothes, makeup, your toys, anything left in this house in 15 minutes and 1 second might burn in the barrel out back." Clock's ticking. She froze, mouth open. "You can't. This is my house." "It's my house," I corrected. "I paid for it. You lied for it. 14 minutes. She looked into my eyes. There was no love there, not even anger, just concrete. And she realized I was not bluffing. Panic set in. She started running around the house, shrieking, grabbing her designer clothes, shoes, handbags. She was stuffing them into the bags blindly. She looked pathetic. The femme fatale was gone. There was just a greedy, terrified girl trying to save her junk. I stood there checking my watch, and when the second hand hit the mark, I said, "Time." She had 3 stuffed bags, and she was dragging them toward the door, sobbing. "I didn't get my winter coat." Not my problem. I opened the front door. "Out." She stumbled onto the porch with her bags. "Rick, I have nowhere to go. It's night. I don't have any money." I looked down at her. "You have $2,000 from the boss. That's enough for a motel. Find a lawyer tomorrow. I'm filing for divorce in the morning. I'm listing the house to pay off your bank debts, and whatever's left, we split. But you won't not see another dime from me." "But I love you!" she screamed, grabbing the doorframe. I peeled her fingers off the wood, not roughly, but firmly. "No, Tiff. You love things, and I loved an image that never existed." I slammed the door in her face. I turned the deadbolt. Click. That sound, the metallic snap of the bolt sliding home, was the most beautiful sound of my life. I leaned my back against the door. Outside, she was pounding on it and screaming, but through the double-pane glass, her voice sounded distant, like static on the radio. I walked into the kitchen. The bank letter and the tablet were still on the table. I grabbed the tablet, walked out the back door to the burn barrel I used for leaves. I tossed the gadget in, doused it with lighter fluid, struck a match. The flame roared up, devouring the plastic and all the gigabytes of lies inside it. I got back in my old pickup. I could not stay in that house tonight. Too many ghosts. I fired up the engine. The old V8 roared like a wounded but undefeated beast. I pulled out onto the road. In the rearview mirror, I saw Tiffany sitting on the porch surrounded by black trash bags. She got smaller and smaller until she disappeared into the dark. I was heading to a cheap roadside motel. I did not have a home. I had almost no money. My family was destroyed. But I rolled down the window, and the night air hit my face. I took a deep breath. For the first time in years, I could breathe. A weight of $25,000 and 130 pounds of lies had just fallen off my shoulders. I was free, and it was worth every penny. 1 year later, the new Ford diesel purred like a well-fed cat as I pulled into the courthouse parking lot. I ran my hand over the steering wheel. Leather grip, new car smell. I bought it 3 months ago. Cash. No loans, no debts, no lies. The past year had been hellacious work, but it was my work. After the divorce, I sold the house. The bank took their cut. We paid off the mortgage and Tiffany's debts. The remainder was just enough to rent a small apartment and start my own firm. I was not just a foreman anymore. I was a contractor. Rick and Crew Construction. We build honest, and we're booked out 6 months in advance. I stepped out of the truck, straightening my jacket. Today was a formality, signing off on some minor asset division we'd missed in the rush. I saw her on the steps. She'd changed. Tiffany was leaning against a pillar, smoking a thin cigarette. A year ago, she looked 25, even though she was 30. Now, she looked her age, maybe older. No more luxury. Cheap puffer jacket, department store jeans, scuffed booties. The mask was gone for good. OnlyFans did not make her a millionaire. As soon as the rumor about the bar stream hit the grapevine, and in small towns, rumors travel faster than light, her reputation tanked. Her parents barely spoke to her. Her dad never forgave the shame of that night. She saw me, tossed the cigarette, fixed her hair. Old reflex, trying to please. "Hey, Rick." Her voice was quiet, a little raspy. "Hello, Tiffany." I walked closer. I waited for my heart to skip a beat, for anger, or maybe pity. But inside, it was quiet, like a poured concrete foundation, empty and solid. "You look good," she said, nodding at my truck. "New ride? Your dream." "Yep, mine." She shifted her weight. "I heard you have your own firm. Happy for you." "Thanks. How are you?" She gave a crooked smirk. "Surviving. I'm working the front desk at a motel off the highway, renting a studio with a girlfriend. Money's tight, but..." She hesitated. "Rick, I've been thinking a lot about that night, about us." I checked my watch. "Tiffany, I have a client meeting in an hour. Let's sign and go." She stepped toward me, touching my sleeve. "Rick, I was an idiot. I know. I lost everything. I miss us. I miss the house. I miss how you grilled steaks on Sundays. Maybe coffee? Just to talk? I've changed. I'm not that doll anymore." I looked into her eyes. I saw exhaustion and the fear of being alone. She was looking for a life raft. A year ago, that raft was the boss and his cash. Now she realized the real boss had been beside her for 10 years, and she'd sold him out. I gently removed her hand. "No, Tiffany." "Why? Is there someone else?" "There is," I answered. And it was the truth. Katie, an ER nurse I met when I dislocated my shoulder a few months back. She has 2 kids, laughs at my jokes, and hates shopping. But that's not the point. Then what is? "The foundation," I said. "If the foundation cracks, you can't save the house. You didn't just make a mistake, Tiff. You did not respect me. And without respect, men do not come back. We went inside, signed the papers in 5 minutes. Silence. On the way out, I put on my sunglasses. The sun was bright. It was going to be a hell of a day. "Goodbye, Rick," she said to my back. I did not turn around. "Good luck, Tiffany." I got into my truck, and my phone pinged. A text from Katie. "Steaks for dinner? Or should we order pizza and watch the game?" I smiled. "Steaks. I'm buying the best ribeyes in town. Be there in 20. I fired up the engine, and in the rear-view mirror, I saw Tiffany pulling out another cigarette, staring at the empty parking lot. She stayed in the past, exactly where she belonged. I put it in drive and hit the gas. Ahead of me was the road, the work, and the life I built myself. And this time, I was not going to let anyone tear it down. And that's where today's story ends. Thank you for watching to the end. If you enjoyed it, do not forget to like and comment. We'd love to discuss this story with you. See you in the next video.